Wow, thank you Mike and Adam for that wonderful and spirited opening to our Superintendent's Breakfast today, and for that gracious and kind introduction, Adam. I am humbled to serve you and our community as Superintendent of this unique and outstanding school district. And welcome to all of you, our community, our stakeholders, who have a keen interest in our local schools and who continue to support and invest in the high quality education that Clovis Unified has been providing now for 62 years. Your expectation of us is to provide an exemplary education experience for our students of this community. And our expectation of ourselves is to be accountable to our community, so that the legacy that Doc Buchanan created, the legacy that we are honoured to maintain and perpetuate, continues on into the future. I often say we are the stewards of that legacy, and it is our responsibility to treasure that stewardship with intentionality and purpose. My hope is that you will go away from this gathering today with an understanding of how we, the district, are holding ourselves accountable to our students, to you, our community, and to our elected and dedicated governing board members who represent your voices with every policy decision made for the benefit of our students. I want to start by thanking our 6 mascots, our Buchanan cheerleaders and our Clovis North Band members for coming out today to kind of bring us back in a sort of way to our own school experiences and to remind us of the spirit and the fun that our school days brought us so long ago as we were growing up. And congratulations, obviously, to our winners for your enthusiasm. But more importantly, this reminds us that our school experiences shaped us into the adults that we are today, not just academically, but on multiple levels. How to compete, how to navigate adversity, and how to hold ourselves accountable. It is with that very thought in mind, and also thinking about our future construction growth, which I will speak to later, that we landed on our theme this year, Building Tomorrow, Today. Those mascots are a great reminder to us all that we are right now, today, building tomorrow's opportunities for our students, and it matters. It matters a lot, and that's why you're here today, to hear about what we are doing to prepare our kids for tomorrow, especially since yesterday, i.e. the past 2 years, dealt us a very unique hand of challenges to overcome in that preparation. So I will remind you, albeit reluctantly, that just 1 short year ago, we weren't able to be together in a room like this. 1 short year ago. But true to Clovis Unified form, we found a way over at the Buchanan Softball Complex to gather and share with you what we planned for this past school year to overcome the challenges of masks, social distancing, contact tracing protocols, testing requirements. I'm so glad to put it all in the rearview mirror, but we did plan on having the most normal year possible for our kids, even with all those things going on. And our staff back there were nothing short of amazing in how they came together to make it a hugely successful year. So take a look at our accomplishments video for 2021-22, which captures some of the moments of success and fun from all around the district. And I also want to direct you to the document at your place setting, which further outlines some of that information that you can peruse later.
Our Clovis Unified kids and the educators who support them set big goals, and we're proud of the big things they've achieved last year. Granite Ridge Intermediate and Woods Elementary were named National Blue Ribbon Schools. 28 schools received the California Pivotal Practice Award. The Center for Advanced Research and Technology, or CART, was featured nationwide for the 2nd year in a row by the Canopy Project as a featured school for innovation. Alta Sierra Intermediate and Mickey Cox Elementary were 2022 Educational Results Partnership Honor Roll schools. Rayburn and Granite Ridge Intermediate schools were named Schools to Watch. and Clovis Online and Clovis Adult Education were named Best of Central California by the Fresno Bee. And our kids continue to shine. Mind and body, Clovis Unified Kids set the bar high, and we celebrate it as Bodies and Spirits soared over the past year, while 11 schools received Honor Character Awards. 6 schools were named 2022 Civic Learning Award of Merit winners. Clovis East High and Rayburn Intermediate won the 2022 Civic Learning Award, Spirit of Liberty for Equity and Inclusion, while the PBIS Coalition awarded 17 of our schools platinum status and 1 school gold. And 43 schools were certified digital citizenship schools by Common Sense Media. Cole Elementary teacher Sherry Johnson was named Fresno County Educator Awards Teacher of the Year. Clovis West High Student Relations Liaison Richard Delgado was named Fresno County Educator Awards Employee of the Year. And across the district, the celebrations continue. All around our students, the people who support them were flying high too. Drivers for our special education students went to each home of the 700 special education students to introduce themselves before school began. And more than 7,000 students were carefully transported to and from school each day. Campus Catering provided 4.75 million meals. And did you know our team bakes from scratch breads, muffins, and cinnamon rolls? The grounds team mowed 500 acres of lawn, and our custodial and maintenance team cared for 4.8 million square feet of building space. That's more than 3 times the size of the Pentagon, and they did it every week. Nursing and health aides tended 393,000 students' health-related concerns, and the list goes on. Isn't it exciting to see what kids can do in mind, body, and spirit? We can't wait to see what heights they reach next.
There's a lot going on, so it's really fun. So I think we achieved our aim of making it the most normal year that we could. But this video also brings to mind something that Doc said all the time. We believe in high standards in Clovis Unified Schools. And in a world where standards are being lowered all around us, we are very intentional to stand out as a beacon of high standards in everything that we do. As the 15th largest school district, public school district in California, with over 6,000 employees and almost 43,000 students, we must be intentional about how we uphold those high standards. And you will see during this morning's presentation that here in Clovis Unified, there are systems and processes in place that help us focus on adhering to our strategic plan, which is rooted in our core values, our vision, our mission, and our aims. So as I prepared for this morning's presentation, I reflected on what I would want to hear from the superintendent if I was sitting on the other side of the breakfast plate. After what we've been through the past couple of years, I would definitely want to know exactly what are the specific academic and social emotional challenges that the district is navigating. And more importantly, what is the district doing about those challenges to get our students back on track? I would be very interested to know if the district is implementing any additional safety protocols. And I would also be very keen to know how the district is progressing on following through with new construction after our community passed the largest bond measure in the district's history. And lastly, with so much change in society, I'd be concerned to know what Clovis Unified is doing to keep its culture of excellence alive into the future. So with that in mind, I'll focus on those key topics for today's presentation. So let's start with a look at how our kids are doing emotionally. Our kiddos came back to us last year with many emotional struggles that are unique in their complexities and in their numbers. Many of our students had been isolated from their friends and other social contacts for extended periods of time. Some didn't return to us at all until this school year. Many missed out on the normal interactions that come with athletic and performing arts activities at school, as well as local club, church, and social events. With the wearing of masks for much of the past school year, many students lost out on the normal social cues that helped them connect and socialize with each other and with staff. Can you imagine what it was like to return to a campus like Clovis East High School with about 3,000 students last year after being isolated for over a year prior? We are concerned about our vulnerable high schoolers who spent extended time periods on their screens listening to influential blogs and TikTok videos that became part of their isolated and often lonely bedroom existence. We have little ones who totally missed out on all the relationship building that is the core of their early developmental success. And we now have fourth graders who are struggling to read. Like I said, for sure, our challenges are unique and numerous. Fortunately, before COVID, we had developed our comprehensive wellness program. Some of you will remember the suicide cluster of 2017. Our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Anderson, is to be commended for establishing our comprehensive wellness program that year, and we are glad it was in place. The multitude of support programs served by our wellness plan is extensive, and it is staffed by a wide range of specialists qualified at different levels. We recognise that we must address emotional wellness and mental health from multiple angles. And given our current levels of challenge in these areas, we have developed and expanded our existing services to our students around emotional wellness. So just a few examples, our CSI, Clovis Support and Intervention, which we've had now for about 15 years, has grown exponentially. And essentially it consists of small group therapeutic sessions with trained facilitators to address grief, anger management, substance abuse, divorce, death, as well as a host of other challenges identified by our students. Our BCT, which is our Behaviour Consultation Team, consists of school psychologists and other behaviour support staff who provide and implement effective behaviour strategies and interventions to support teachers in addressing extreme behaviours in their classrooms. We have professional mental health support providers assigned to each high school area. These school psychologists are also trained in suicide prevention and intervention. Our partnership with Jim Yovino's office at the county called All for Youth has resulted in a mental health clinician serving in each high school area of our district, as well as a brand new wellness centre located at Tarpey Elementary. Jim's plan is to have a clinician at every school site in Fresno County, every single school site. With 124 clinicians and case managers already hired and serving 260 schools, we are well on our way. And we greatly appreciate Jim's vision to bring mental health services out of downtown Fresno and into every school in the county. Thank you, Jim, for your service to Fresno County as our county superintendent for close to 10 years now, and we wish you well in your retirement. Yes. You've heard of many of the other programs within our wellness projects, such as PBIS, Positive Behaviours and Interventions, where we have 20 award-winning sites in the district, our amazing Positivity Project, Second Step and Character Strong programs, curricula that we purchased several years ago to be integrated into our classrooms as students learn every day about perseverance, discipline, teamwork, integrity, honesty. And just last week, I witnessed students learning about how to be present in the moment. How great a lesson is that in this day and age? Our equity work focuses on making sure that all means all for our students who are navigating a host of social and emotional challenges. This is all in addition to the great work of our highly acclaimed Transitions program, which you've all heard of, funded by our LCAP, which has expanded greatly over the past 8 or so years to provide student and family resource centres at all our secondary sites, as well as student relations liaisons and counsellors at our elementary sites. And essentially they are there to wrap their arms around our kids to make sure that they are fed both physically and emotionally as they navigate challenges from anxiety, depression, homelessness, poverty, food insecurity, and domestic violence, etc. Our transition team works with our Student Services and Attendance Department, and they contract with an outside agency, Comprehensive Youth Services, to make sure that our kids are getting all the help and services that our school system can provide, but also that our social welfare system has available. They also work with our Curriculum Instruction Accountability Department to provide parent academies, to share ideas with parents on how to provide structure and emotional stability in the home. While we continue to seek ways to improve these programs every day, we believe that the high standards of emotional support is key to ensuring that our kids are available for academic learning. So taking a little look at the social side, we're continuing to set high standards for students' behaviours. And we believe that students can achieve the high expectations that we have for them, especially with all the programs and supports that I just outlined. But in addition to those, our principals had to be a little innovative this past year in addressing some of the more unique social challenges that we had. For example, we have several sites whose administration and teachers created videos showing our elementary students how to line up correctly, how to play respectfully on the playground, how to share, and how to take turns, all done with intentionality. And it's really a collective effort. I was out at an elementary site recently and I witnessed a little student come into the office and say, "I need 5 copies of this paper." And I was talking to the principal and I smiled because I overheard our registrar say, "Good morning, let's try that again." And she gently guided our students through a more polite way of making the request. So it's everybody. One of our teachers sent us this photo behind me of little Clara, whose bus sometimes arrives earlier than her teachers due to our impacted routing this year. And so our amazing bus driver, Monique, that's her in the photo, she has downloaded little Clara's favourite Disney movies on her phone. She keeps her company until her teachers arrive. And even as a superintendent, I love every opportunity to teach our kids, as I did last week when a little one learned about the importance of tying our shoelaces. I'm the one who broke my wrist last year because I didn't tie my shoelaces. So more than anything, this highlights the importance of relationships and that our kids need to know that they are loved and valued, That is why we continue to seek out employees who truly care about our kids. Dr. Young used to say, "We can pay you to do a job, but we cannot pay you to care." And she was so right. We are proud of the results of our most recent student survey, where 84% of our students reported that their teachers wanted them to be successful. And 94% said that they know that if they work hard, they can be more successful. That's important. They have to equate effort with outcome. Our kids know that our staff cares and loves them. I just heard about one of our senior Buchanan water polo players and former Cole Elementary student who is navigating the challenge of a terminally ill dad. His coach rescheduled senior night recently so that his dad could be there. And when they heard, many of the staff from Cole Elementary also came to the game to show their support and to demonstrate that there is a whole team of people who care. Reminding our kids that relationships are important, showing our kids how to develop a trusting and caring relationship with those around them, all these social skills are key to our kids being available for learning academically. And to that end, we set high standards for developing character and civic learning. And when we set those standards, our students often run even further than we would expect, like our Tarpey Student Council. Tarpey Elementary was recently honoured as the only elementary school out of more than 5,800 public elementary schools in the entire state of California to receive the Civic Learning Award of Excellence from the California Courts, the judicial branch of California. Imagine that. Only one elementary school in the state to achieve that award, and it was our very own Tarpey Elementary. Our students were honoured in June by the city of Clovis. Thank you so much for doing that. And today they're receiving proclamations from US Congresswoman Connie Conway, representing California's 22nd District. I am so honoured to have some of our award-winning students here this morning to tell us just a little bit about why they were the ones to win this prestigious award. And I want them to come up here so I can introduce them. Come on up. Okay, and they're here with their principal, Dr. Tachua Vu. So let me introduce them first. We have Pierce Pope. Pierce is currently a 7th grade student at Alta Sierra, but he was previously, when the award was awarded, at Tarpey, representing Tarpey Student Council. Next we have Isabella Medina. She's a 7th grade student, also at Alta, and she was on our student council when the award was given. And right next to her we have Natalie, I think that's Natalie Rodriguez. Yes, she's a 6th grade student, Tarpey Student Council President. Next we have Natalie Martinez, who is a 5th grade student from Tarpey, who is our Tarpey Student Council Human Relations leader. And last we have Regina Garibo Fernandez, who's a 6th grade student, and she is our Vice President of Tarpey Student Council. So I'm going to ask 2 quick questions. I'm going to let them answer for you. So the first question I'm going to ask Pierce is, why do you think your school won this prestigious award?
Good morning. My name is Pierce Pope, and I am a student at Alta Sierra Intermediate School, but I have been involved in Student Council at Tarpey for the past 3 years. Being part of Tarpey Student Council has been a great experience. I know that every school has a student council, but Dr. O'Brien, what sets us apart from the other student councils are the traditions that have been set from past Tarpey Student Council. We know that traditions are so important because they are a way to teach values, build relationships, and to foster a sense of belonging, and best of all, create positive memories. So, Dr. O'Brien, we believe that we have earned this prestigious award because we have developed traditions at Tarpey through service projects, community projects, and we have been able to keep these traditions alive for the past 15 years. We are proud of all our work and excited that we are recognized.
Thank you, Pierce. Excellent. And Isabella, my question for you is, what do you think you'll carry forward into the future from what you are learning as a student council member at Tarpey, or what you have learned, I should say?
Good morning. My name is Isabella Medina, and I am also a student at Altus here Intermediate School. And just like Pierce, I had the honor of serving Tarpey Elementary Student Council for the past few years. So, funny story, I actually did not want to do student council, but my teacher, Mrs. Dorsey, saw the leadership potential in me and forwarded my name to student council advisor, Mrs. Jett. And before I knew it, I was elected as student council president. So, Dr. Bryan, if you're asking me how will I carry this forward to my future, I can tell you that Tarpey Student Council has really shaped who I am. It has brought me out of my shell, and I am more confident as a person and leader. Public speaking has become way more easier for me. And I'm proud to say I've carried over my student council skills from Tarpey and continue them at Altus Year Intermediate Leadership.
Thank you, Isabella and Pierce. You know, I'd like to point out that our own Betsy Sandoval, who has lived across the street from Tarpey for more than 40 years, and who has served on the Clovis Unified Governing Board since 1981, is retiring this year. What a wonderful example of public service and civic mindedness, and a great role model for you students right in your own neighbourhood. I know for a fact that as a board member, Betsy has supported every effort and programme to increase civic engagement among our students. And I would love our students, in fact all of us, to show our appreciation at this time to our retiring governing board member, Betsy Sandoval, 38 years on the first team. One last thing. Students, first of all, I want to thank you for being here and doing that. But actually, we have a surprise for our students, and it's been hard not to tell them, but you know, we wanted it to be a surprise. So it's not just all of us in the room who think what you're doing is fairly incredible, but you've been invited by the State Judicial Council to speak at their Civic Summit in November in Sacramento, so that others can learn about the many ways that you, our young people, and your school leaders are developing responsible future citizens. So this is such a great example of the high standards that we've been talking about this morning, and our theme of building tomorrow today. So we're so excited. You're going to be traveling up to our state's capital in November to represent Tarpey Elementary and Clovis Unified and to share your story. So congratulations, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Let's give them a round. So you've heard me talk about ensuring that our students are available to learn academically. After all, that's what we're really here for, is to advance the academic achievement of our kids. So let's take a look at how we're doing academically. I think it's a well-known fact that Clovis Unified sets high standards in academic achievement and really has been the benchmark for academic excellence in this state and frankly in the nation. During the past 2 years, our teachers and support staff have gone way above and beyond to ensure that the teaching and more importantly, the learning continued despite the hurdles and barriers that came our way, and there were many. Bear in mind that we had only half our students in person for the 2021 school year. And this past year, while most of our students did come back in August, we were plagued for most of the year with student and staff absences due to illness and contact tracing. Every day I looked at that report and the amount of absences was so hard to look at. And I found myself thinking when I was back in the classroom and I was in the middle of teaching a concept and the next day half your kids are gone and then some of them are back the next day. It was, like I said here, it was frustratingly disruptive to the learning process. However, once again, our teachers and support staff rallied to ensure that the teaching and the learning continued. We can teach all day, but we've got to ensure the learning by integrating an extensive range of intervention strategies. something we are very good at. And utilising the CARES dollars and all the other dollars we got to do everything we could to maximise achievement for all students, as our aim number 1 of our strategic plan says. Maximise achievement for all students. So while the state hasn't yet finalised or released the testing data for last spring, the information that we do have is still embargoed. But we are encouraged by the fact that our scores didn't drop as much as many other districts in our state, and particularly among our comparison districts. So early numbers for 2022 indicate that our overall students' ELA scores, English Language Arts, are down by about 6%, and our math scores dropped by about 9% from the last time that we had data, which was the year prior to the pandemic. So this underscores the hard work of our teachers and our support staff who pressed forward and were among the first to return our kids to the classroom in the state. Some of our greatest concerns relate to our younger students. As you can imagine, our current second graders who were in kindergarten in March of 2020, they're hovering at about a 20% drop in overall proficiency. And this is a focus for our academic interventions and plans. Going back to 2019, our students in kindergarten and first grade, they typically hovered at around 80% overall proficiency. And their struggles were very significant too. And our team worked hard this past year to bring these early learners up to about a 70% overall proficiency. So obviously, we're still working on that, and I have every confidence we'll be back on track within a year. The good news, though, is that with today's technology, we can also measure and track growth, something we weren't able to do when we were all at school. And in our reviews of elementary student performance, there is a very steep upward trend of growth across all grade levels. 80% of our kids grew 1 or more proficiency levels on the spring diagnostic in English Language Arts, and 82% grew in math for this 21-22 past school year. This points to the fact that when our kids are in school with our outstanding teachers and provided all those necessary social emotional supports that I just talked about, and all of the academic interventions and supports, that growth is an outcome of our collective efforts. And we're so excited to see the growth, and we know it's going to continue. At the secondary level, our AP students' pass rate increased by 7.7% this past year, and 19 of the 32 exam subject areas showed a year-over-year increases in pass rates. And then our career technical education program is also thriving. After a pandemic dip, we now have more than 3,700 students enrolled in one of our 21 career pathways provided at both our comprehensive sites and also our Centre for Advanced Research and Technology, or CART. And most recently, we did launch our Product Innovation and Design pathway based out at Clovis North High School. So it's no wonder that our graduation rate continues to climb, and did so this past year by 1.4% to 97.2%. I've witnessed our Clovis Unified teachers going above and beyond to get our kids back on track. During the past 2 summers, they came back after exhausting school years to teach our kids during summer school. They also came out in very large numbers during their summer vacation to participate in a wide range of professional development programs to maximize their teaching strategies. I was out at Mountain View a couple of weeks ago, and I chatted with a 4th grade teacher who has devised a new phonics program herself for some of her students because they're still struggling in 4th grade with reading. That kind of innovative thinking is happening all over the district. And it isn't just our amazing teachers. I've seen office managers and registrars helping our kids with their social interactions, like I just talked about. Campus catering employees helping their students with their spelling words and their math facts. And our nurses, police officers, custodians, school psychologists, bus drivers, and so many more, reaching out every day to ensure our kids feel safe and loved and supporting their learning. As we often say in Clovis Unified, every employee is an educator. with the joint efforts of our more than 6,000 employees setting those standards high, and the ever-increasing resilience of our students, with the kind of outstanding educational experience that they deserve as we all emerge from what was a very challenging chapter in our history. A great reflection of all this hard work is that when the United States Department of Education announced its national blue ribbon schools for 21-22, let me tell you the statistics, because I have it in my head and it's not my speech. There were 420 schools, just 420 across the nation, who qualified to apply for the National Blue Ribbon Award. Of the 420 who applied, 297 were awarded the National Blue Ribbon status. Of the 297 nationally, 29 were in the state of California. Of the 29 in the state of California, 2 were in the Central Valley. Of the 2 in the Central Valley, both were in Clovis Unified School District. So those 2 schools are Woods Elementary and Granite Ridge Intermediate School, and we are so proud of the achievements of these schools, because this is a very competitive process. You really have to be really implementing extremely efficient and effective teaching strategies. And I was out at Granite Ridge yesterday, and one of the things I said to them is, it's no secret that Granite Ridge is already performing at a very high standard. But to continue to hold those standards up high and to continue to see our kids growing, it's really quite phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to going out to Woods Elementary in another week or so to congratulate their staff. So we're just so proud. And like I said, as I kind of finish up talking about academics, it is because of these efforts that we are looking at coming out of the pandemic with a lot of confidence in Clovis Unified in terms of academics. And so with that, I want to talk a little bit about safety. I know that while every parent here appreciates all that we do to achieve aim number 1, to maximize achievement of all of our students, there isn't a parent here whose first priority isn't the safety of your children every day, right? And I can tell you there isn't an administrator in the back of that room in this district who doesn't wake up every morning and think about school safety. And I want you to know that our dedication to high standards extends to school safety too. So over the years, we here in Clovis Unified have made some significant decisions around school safety. For example, every school develops an annual comprehensive safety plan in conjunction with our local first responder agencies. Details are ironed out. Crisis and evacuation plans are reviewed, maps are updated, drills are developed, responsibilities are practiced, and all equipment such as PA systems, lock boxes, security cameras, and other vital safety components are audited for efficiency. Visitors are required to check in at the office and scan their ID with the Raptor visitor management system. Many of you also know that Clovis Unified has its own police force, which includes 16 sworn officers and a dispatcher. The California Department of Justice has named them one of the most experienced and diverse small agencies in the state. And with years of experience in SWAT, narcotics, sex crimes, human trafficking, gangs, terroristic threats, etc., we are fortunate to have officers at all secondary sites and rovers to cover our elementary sites and our after-school activities. Our team meets regularly with the Clovis and Fresno PD and has MOUs, which means that they can access our site maps, our cameras, and our new Catapult emergency management system, which I'll go into in a moment. So just before school started, all staff, our classified and certificated staff, participated in a situational awareness and active intruder training with our Clovis Unified Police Department. And as we continue to liaise with school safety experts who in turn partner with agencies such as the FBI, we recognize that every second matters when it comes to an emergency. So new this year, all classrooms are required to be locked during the school day, and we're in the process of evaluating automatic locking doors for unmanned doors at our school sites. We've been told by Clovis PD that our doors are excellent barriers. We're also in the process of evaluating rooftop identification signs to support first responders using airborne resources to respond to an emergency. So the work to keep our schools secure goes on every day, and we're always on the lookout for the best practices and technology to increase our response time in the event of an emergency. So new also this year, Clovis Unified has implemented Catapult Ems as a tool that is making our notification process and our communication with all Clovis Unified staff and first responders in the case of a crisis or drill more efficient, more effective, and faster. Everyone has been trained. It utilizes our existing PA system in our schools, our existing emails and text messages to assist in notifying all CUSD staff and first responders in a much quicker and efficient manner. So this notification is easy to use and addresses the concern of forgetting to notify an internal or outside group in the case of a crisis. All staff can report and manage real-time information about evolving threats, including the location and the well-being of students and staff during an emergency situation. It's very sophisticated. The system overrides everything on our cell phones and has already been extremely helpful during a number of emergencies this school year to immediately activate measures to mitigate any risk to our students and staff. So in fact, to help all of you have a sense of how immediate and noticeable these notifications are, I've asked that a drill be activated now. Let's see if this works. I assume somebody's activating it. So even my own phone will be going off. So what you're hearing is that mobile phones, most of which I'm sure were on silent, alerting members of our district and site leaders on our safety team. In an event of an actual safety issue, each of this team immediately fills a role to support our school in security, communication, student accounting, and much more. And now you might hear another sound. Sounds a little bit like the Disney wand, I think. Will come in a moment. And it's the sound that the issue has been resolved. Let's see if it comes. Somebody's doing it. There you go. I love that sound. Sounds like boobity bobbity boo. We recently shared all this information with our parents at district start, and I know the sites are sharing it out at site meetings. I was recently on the phone, actually, to one of our board members, and the whole car took over my entire car. You know, I had to pull over because I was talking and the alarms were going, and so I recognize that, you know, it really is effective at making sure that we know immediately and that we're all notified and can get into action and just so quickly. And like I said, seconds are everything when it comes to responding to an emergency. So with that, I don't want to leave this morning without talking about what's next for Clovis Unified, so I'm going to touch on the future just for a couple of moments here. I know that you drive by the multitude of new homes, apartments, townhouses, and commercial businesses that are popping up all around us. With that growth comes an increase in enrollment for us here in Clovis Unified. And while we saw a dip in the numbers last year, we had the highest increases in enrollment of new students this year in a whole decade. And we're back to pre-pandemic levels, with some areas growing more rapidly than others. We are officially out of space in Clovis Unified, and we greatly appreciate all of you and our greater community for passing the largest bond measure in our district's history, so that we can build new schools to accommodate the ever-growing expansion of our community. So on the map behind me, you can see the location of our new 35th elementary school at Fowler and McKinley. It's scheduled to open in August of 2024. And not far down the road is the location of the brand new Terry Bradley Educational Centre, which we're excited to open for grades 7, 8 and 9 in August 2025 and continue to full build out in 2026. With these new facilities will come some boundary changes, a brand new area which will build its own culture and pride as our existing areas have done. Our area model is designed to keep us small even as we grow bigger, and to keep relationships strong and our core educational values in place. You heard me talk a lot about high standards this morning, and I believe that in order for us to maintain those standards, we need to preserve and perpetuate the core values and philosophies of our founding superintendent, Dr. Floyd B. Buchanan. I recently saw that the CIA has created a museum, I don't know if you saw that, for their internal employees, so that they will know the history of the agency, the reasoning behind decisions, the lessons learned from mistakes, and the priorities to continue a legacy of excellence. So here in Clovis Unified, we are adamant to do the same. Our Doc B Leadership Academy, sponsored by our amazing foundation for Clovis Schools, is well off the ground with a schedule of modules and curriculum, with historical information and videos dedicated to the 11 identified core philosophies of this district. We also published a desktop book for all our leaders this summer that serves as a quick visual reminder of the foundational principles upon which every decision is made. For example, the high standards that I've alluded to multiple times this morning, Doc Buchanan laid out a clear path upon which we still base every decision on those high standards. The protected financial support of our foundation guarantees a budget to prioritize the development of leaders within the context of the core values of Clovis Unified. The protected financial support. Thank you, Foundation, for prioritizing this. It's probably the most important thing you do. So thank you for doing that, for your intentionality around the stewardship of this district as we navigate into the future. Our kids are indebted to our foundation for this, and I'd like to give them a round of applause. And finally, you may remember the first year I delivered my message at this breakfast. I stole a quote from the Clovis Mayor's breakfast at the time by C.S. Lewis. Change isn't progress if you lose your core. That has been a keystone of my superintendency. A lot has happened since 2017. And while we have navigated one of the most challenging chapters in the district's history, we have also witnessed huge successes for our kids. And as we look to the future, we know that yes, change will come, but our core starts from a point of setting high standards for ourselves and for our students. And those high standards are founded in our core values and philosophy. These are the things that will ensure that we remain the great place for kids that we have been over time, and that will ensure our schools, which some say are the heartbeat of our community, continue to build a high quality tomorrow, today. I want to thank you all. I want to thank our governing board for your hard work, your support and guidance of this district. I want to thank our community. It's so great to see you out here this morning. And I just want to say that I believe that the Clovis Unified leadership and administration, I put them up against any team in the nation as being one of the most dedicated and hardworking teams. And they also are such stewards of that legacy. So I just want to thank you all down there. I want to tell you I am humbled and honoured to serve alongside of you. And with that, I just want to say here's to another great year. Thank you.